You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. We got the original crew back for episode 154. My name is Clark from 5Card Guys on Instagram and 5cardguys.com. Co-hosting with me as usual is Hyung of Integrity Sports Cards and John, who is Trade You at Recess. All right, off the top, a couple of things. First, we really haven't had the chance to talk amongst the three of us what we thought of the Panini versus Fanatics antitrust lawsuit and counter lawsuit. I brought it up briefly with a couple of guests we had on our podcast this month about what they thought, but I thought, we could discuss amongst the three of us. Any thoughts for you guys? What's happening in the courts right now when it comes to Panini versus Fanatics?
You know what? I don't have much to say on this, but I went on Blowout, just kind of checked it out because there's always interesting discussion. So I'm just gonna read the user from Brother Tona, okay? And this was his post. He goes, "For years, Panini and Fanatics had a business relationship because the latter would provide the bulk of player jerseys that would go into premium cards. But the lawsuit says that in May of this year, Rubin threatened Fanatics that Fanatics would no longer supply those materials. The lawsuit also accuses Fanatics of attempting to undermine Panini's current business before its current licenses run out. It says Fanatics acquired a controlling stake in the trading card manufacturer GCP that produces over 90% of Panini's trading card needs, and that GCP is the only U.S. manufacturer that meets Panini's technological, quality, and capacity requirements. And it says Fanatics has used its control of GCP to restrict Panini's supply of trading cards despite their contracted agreements. The legal action comes on the heel of another skirmish between the two parties. In May, as part of a lawsuit filed by Panini against Fanatics in a Texas district court, the sides agreed to a temporary injunction that restricts Fanatics' ability to recruit Panini employees and enjoy Fanatics' ability to use confidential information from employees who used to work at Panini. So right. Panini, and then the quote ends, "Panini is trying to blame Fanatics for its own inability to keep pace with what players, fans, and even its own employees rightly want," the Fanatics spokesperson said. So that was actually the Wall Street Journal article. Right?
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Like, I guess what's going on with all that. But like, yeah, for me, it's, I guess they're fighting last fire, right? Like, I mean, what do they have left? Right. So.
Yep.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Seems that way for sure.
Fanatics is cutting them off at the source. Yo, you're not going to agree to our deal? All right.
You can argue that's a pretty shrewd business move on the part of Fanatics, right? But yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's some great context.
Yeah, for sure. Got to read Blowout forums more often.
I'm telling you, there's some good information, and then some guys are idiots, but once in a while you get good insight with people that understand what they're talking about. But I thought it was interesting. Yeah,
that is interesting. I think anybody, naturally, the first thing we think about is it just feels like it's posturing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we know, I think everybody kind of knows that Panini is dead man walking in the sports card trade like space. So Fanatics is, about to buy. I mean, remember that whole thing about like the Fanatics website was kind of taking over the Panini website. So a lot of people were murmuring about it was about to be imminent, like it was going to happen. Announcement might be coming shortly. There's a lot of clues, and then nothing ever came of it. So I would imagine there was an offer made and maybe they were kind of getting close, and then, something happened. So it's sort of the inevitable. And these lawsuits are just, you'd imagine they're just posturing so that Panini can uphold their value amount, and Fanatics is trying to chop down the value amount. before they, inevitably buy them out, right? So
for me, it's like, it sounds very similar to what happened with Liv and PGA.
Yeah, very right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you just are fighting cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Threatening to sue or actually suing. And then next week, it's like, yeah, we're merging.
Good. Yeah, exactly. It usually goes to that, right? So it's crazy.
Yeah, they're both like, how much are we paying our lawyers? All right, come on, guys, let's settle this quickly. Really, in situations like these, the lawyers always win, But yeah, no, I agree. It kind of sounds like posturing. Probably Panini's trying to. I think Daryl said this too in our interview, right?
Yeah.
It seems like Panini's trying to increase their value any way possible, and then once they hit a certain number, they're like, okay, you know what? All right, we'll sell at that point.
But they say in that article or whatever that like 90% of their jersey patches came from Fanatics, so they're literally like strangling like Panini by the neck, basically bleeding them dry in every single way. So that's where the lawsuit kind of gets a little more complicated, is because it starts going in depth with like Panini's literally just like just throwing them down to the ground as much as possible, right? So I guess there really is no other option but to do that, to save, at least tread water a bit more, or build more value. So
let that be a lesson to all entrepreneurs and business people. It's always good to diversify.
Yes.
And not be in that situation if you don't have to. But yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. I'm sure we'll hear more news in the coming months. And I wouldn't be surprised if a merge announcement's going to come, or Panini selling their stake is going to come soon either. So we'll see. Okay, before we move on to our main segment, we wanted to briefly touch upon the Wander Franco situation, which is sad and crazy if the allegations are true. I won't get too much into the details because it's still under investigation. We are a sports card podcast, so that's why I kind of want to stay clear of the whole allegation side of things. But we want to at least acknowledge we know that this investigation is going on, and of course it's going to have implications on the hobby. But with such few details at the moment, I'm not sure I want to say much more than that, since there's real life implications for the parties involved that are bigger than cards, of course. But if you are hearing this for the first time, that's why you're seeing a bunch of new eBay listings of Wander Franco. People are scared and what's going to happen, and you know what? People can judge whether they think that's right or wrong to do that, but I think that's probably more for another episode until we see more info come to light. Anyway, you guys have anything to add to that, or?
Well, on top of the overprinted Wander Francos out there too, you're gonna probably see, obviously, a huge price drop, and it's unfortunate. And it literally, when I seen that, it was that meme or that tweet like that was going viral. It was kind of like a gut punch, when it said like he may never play MLB baseball ever again. Like, it was like, what? This is a 22-year-old, future generational player, in the MLB. And it's just like, such a unfortunate event. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. And like I said, there's still a lot to, I guess, pan out, and we don't know any of the stories. So it's, obviously easy to judge on our side and every, thing. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to input on that. It's unfortunate. It's a very unfortunate event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of real life, you just feel bad for people holding big, a lot of money into Wander. And like, there's a lot of people out there that have money into Wander. Like, this may go down as like the greatest sports card single player crash, overnight crash. Like, I don't know how much worse it can get than this. Like, we thought Tatis was bad, we thought Zhao was bad, but this is another level.
But yeah, we'll keep an ear out and see what happens. Obviously, this is a very big story in general, beyond cards, and it's very, even with the possibility of Wander not playing, it's that's how serious it's become. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, and then as more information comes to light, we'll see what we can talk about at that point. Okay, let's move on now then to hobby headlines. So there was an interesting article in the Washington Post this week, and it was titled, "Thanks to NIL, college athletes have trading cards. Their value is hard to quantify." So I thought we could dive deeper into the potential of NIL cards, which is an acronym for name, image, likeness. Now, if you're hearing about NIL cards for the first time, essentially what it is companies like Panini and Topps, or Fanatics now, I guess, they can now sign exclusive deals with amateur athletes before they declare themselves for the pros, right? It wasn't, you weren't able to do that before. I think 2021, the laws changed in the States. So it was big news, for example, recently when Arch Manning, you might know his uncles, Peyton and Eli, but Arch Manning, when one of his cards, I believe it was a 1-of-1, produced by Panini, sold at a charity auction last month for $102,500.
What?
Yeah.
Holy
102,500. It happened to be a record price for any NIL card, I believe. And if you think about it, that is pretty crazy because Arch Manning has yet to play one college football game. So he signed this exclusive deal. Obviously, he has potential, showed flashes of brilliance in high school,
So
right?
what happens with, like, in terms of exclusive deal, what does that mean? They can't do like autos with like Fanatics in the future?
I think so, right? Like, it's kind of like what, what LeBron had with Upper Deck, you know what I mean?
And, yeah.
So, and I'm sure it lasts till there's a termination date.
Yeah.
Or maybe when they go pro, right? But because, no agent would want them to have a long-term deal where you can't sign, with manufacturers that do have pro licenses like Fanatics and Topps in this case, right?
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of things we can discuss here. But let's start with the idea that college and even high school athletes now can have these NIL, very lucrative NIL deals, which means all of a sudden, from a hobby standpoint, for top prospects at least, there could be a bunch of pre-rookie cards on the market, right? So first question, do you think these so-called pre-rookie cards will have any long-term value?
I think, I don't see why not, to be honest, because I think people over time will value stuff like that if they become a superstar, right? Just like how we, see it in history. It's like if you had anything LeBron James high school, or if you had Shohei Ohtani high school, or you had whoever, Tiger Woods, Charlie Woods is going to be big too, right? Like there's going to be, there's a lot of value, I think, to collectors and people who think that would be more valuable in terms of investment, right? So I know there's a lot of people in that train of thought where they think that way. So I think there is some value in that. And I think it could hold long-term value in the future, but I don't think it might be in the immediate, now, right? You will just see kind of people I don't know, but then, if Wembanyama, became, now that Sports Illustrated card becomes, kind of special now, right? Because it's at the end of the day, there was a big card that in that kind of set. So it has kind of that longevity. So yeah, I think there's going to be more and more value in the long-term future though.
Interesting.
Than the immediate short.
What do you think, John?
I don't know what to think. I think I think specific cases could work. Like we see Luka with the Upper Deck, the 2016, 2017 Turkish Airlines Upper Deck promo,
right?
With the white jersey. Like we see that kind of stuff in it, and they're valuable. I think in specific examples it can be valuable, but overall, I'm gonna say no long term. I don't. Like Hyung's example, I think Hyung's example is correct too, but it has to be obviously it's going to be somebody who goes into the trajectory of absolute greatness.
Superstar.
And I think for me, I think the college or the NIL autos, for example, LeBron, I think it's popular not because it's college or anything to do with that. It's because people just want a LeBron auto and they can't afford the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Miami Heat LeBron auto, and they're forced to go down 50% in value and go get the LeBron Fighting Irish auto from when he was in high school because that's the only one that they can afford. But they want a LeBron auto. It's the LeBron auto that's carrying the weight of the value, not the fact that it's NIL. So I think in specific absolute GOAT players, of course there's going to be value, and it has to be just the auto. If it's just Victor Wembanyama, blue refractor out of 150 NIL, I that's probably going to go to like no money, right? But if there's an auto and Victor becomes a top 10 all time, and then yeah, you could see it. But yeah, overall, long term, no. Short term, hot flash flipping, and that game, I think it's going to be huge. I think that'll work because people are going to want Victor, Arch Manning cards, and there's nothing out there. Like this is the only chase. So for the time being, I think the short term flipping will work, but long term, I don't know, man. I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Johnny. Like, I think, when Hyung, you were saying, like, I think the big operative word was if they become big,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of athletes that would hit that superstar status. You could be a good player, and you could be like a good professional big league player. But if you're not a superstar big league player, then I don't think any of those NIL cards will hold that much value.
The only thing that I will say is there is what I think where baseball, specifically baseball, but sports in general, I think it's becoming all global. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to really change the card market, and it's going to affect like stuff like this, where like, for instance, we're run by like, there's NCAA sports. Like people really don't collect college, like draft cards, for instance, aren't demanded, right? So there's kind of like that. But, on the business side of things, it's great because from a sports standpoint, like guys should get paid if
for sure,
if they can. But the whole industry has been controlled by the way MLB, US large corporations, they've kind of done it. So I'm going to say that I think the whole spectrum of how we used to do things in cards in general are going to change. Like, just even like, for instance, baseball, there's a organization called Baseball United. They're in the Middle East, and they're all these MLB players are part of it. Like Felix Hernandez is like a GM now, part of one of the teams. You have all the big leaguers that are going there that are supporting this, and they're trying to grow baseball in the Middle East, right? So I think there's going to be a lot more players in the game. So this is where it starts trickling in, where the whole art of collecting, I think, is going to change a bit. So that's why I agree with your guys' point, though. Like obviously, like that's with anybody. If you need to, especially in high school, they need to be a superstar, like for it to like work, like a Charlie Woods or something, right? Because he's going to be the chase. But ultimately, let's just say Charlie Woods becomes one of the best golfers of all time, right? Would that card not be of value? Just like, let's just say a BBM, Shohei Ohtani, for instance. Huge collector's piece in terms of Japan, right? So it's going to be specific. So that's with anybody. You're not going to see your high school buddy, that had the chance to play, professional baseball, and he was hyped up prospect that injured himself. Those cards, obviously, no one's going to even know, those people exist, right? So, but I just went in a loop, but
no, I like your take on like, the league in the Middle East. Like there are opportunities there. I'll give you that, because I think in North America, at least, what I'm afraid of with these NIL deals, they're gonna give a lot of money to these college athletes all of a sudden, and these college athletes, some of the best ones that are not just really good or great even, but they're highly marketable, right? Yeah. They're like, oh, this guy has swag. Maybe he's the above average player, but right now we can monetize off this athlete, right? And like for them to have a long distinguished career, it's probably unlikely, because not a lot of people get to that elite level. So I think investing in NIL cards is already risky to begin with. And I think with the new deals, what I was about to say was that I have a feeling they're just going to mass produce NIL deals or cards. You know what I mean? Like you're going to see like 5 pre-rookie Charlie Woods cards, and then when he actually I don't know, golf maybe not the best example, but like in baseball, 5 minor league cards until they get to the big leagues. There's there's already 5, 6, 7
Right.
autographed cards of this player.
Right.
So I wonder if NIL deals that are coming up now are going to really dilute the sports card market in general, and worse, possibly devalue the current crop of rookie cards, like the ones we know, like
Right.
Bowman Chrome. Do you think that would happen? I don't know if that's just exaggerating my fear of what might happen, but can you see who's Jackson Holiday? If I know he's going to be in the big soon, but if he had signed an NIL deal, and you got 10 pre-rookie cards of him in this different minor league, from single, double,
Right.
triple A, and then you finally the first Bowman card, that's his 11th autograph card.
Yeah. I think there's too many people in the Bowman Chrome game that becomes the staple of our hobby, right?
Okay.
So that would never
Yeah.
devalue it. It would obviously devalue the NIL cards, right? So but I don't think Bowman Chrome will change. But I would ask you the question: do you think that it's all varies by sport? You think that like soccer, for instance,
Right.
would be crazy in that sense?
Yeah.
Whereas baseball, not so much.
Soccer could be different because, like in England and like in Europe in general, they recruit kids
Really young. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So imagine,
and put them into
imagine
those sponsored academies, right?
Right.
and I think, I don't know how true this, like I think there was a 10-year-old kid that signed a long-term deal with a club, right?
Right.
And just imagine it's a 10-year-old autograph, and then he becomes the next Messi.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I got a 10 year. That might be worth something.
Yeah.
It's like, this is when he was 10 years old.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like that would never happen in baseball no matter what.
Right.
But in soccer, it could happen.
Sports specific, sure.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Is it a European versus American way of thinking? You know what I mean? It could be a kind of combination of both. Like it's a totally different mindset of why that card becomes value in soccer,
Sure.
right? Versus something like baseball. We here on the Western part of the world don't value that at all. It's like, no, we're Bowman Chrome. And,
Right.
maybe on the other side of the world, they value stuff differently. And, as sports become global through, stuff like, obviously the internet has played a huge role to globalize everything, right? It's like, I think the scope of our hobby in general is going to be affected by kind of like new collectors and the way we collect and what people deem as valuable, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm going to pivot a little bit. Let's look at the card manufacturer side of things, okay? Do you think this is an untapped market where companies like Leaf, that goes for the unlicensed stuff, they could enter the NIL game? And even Panini, who we talked about at the top of the show, if they lose all their pro league licenses, do you think this might be a strategy for them to really attack the NIL athlete, to get athletes on NIL deals?
Go for it, John. Leaf is such a sad state.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to think about Leaf. I guess I could, but I don't know.
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I would expect them to kind of go after that market because they.
Why not?
It's like, what else do they have, right? Do you have, guys in suits or, anything without uniforms, really, or logos?
They're essentially going to be like sports agents recruiting the next star, but for the
I honestly think that Leaf should move away from sport autos and just start going after, like
Celebrity.
Hollywood, Hollywood celebrity kind of autos that are kind of unique. I think that will work way better for them than going after sports autos.
Yeah, well, that could be a whole other episode. What to do with Leaf?
Yeah. Where are they in the marketplace?
Their Pop Century is pretty popular. To your point, John,
Right.
Their celeb stuff. Yeah.
Right.
I will say I'll take a Ohtani Leaf auto too, though. Like anything Ohtani still in play, though.
Yeah.
You wouldn't take a Leaf auto.
If it was
Ohtani?
this Japanese auto, okay.
Okay, yeah. If it's a kanji, yeah, for sure. Any kanji. I don't care.
You guys wouldn't take a 2018 Leaf Ohtani
How
auto.
much?
Well, I'm just saying cheap. Like you're talking, it's cheaper than
1,000.
Well, I'm just saying in general, like whatever
Right.
it's relative
Whatever,
to
like
Ohtani's auto, right? Would you pay $6,000 for a base Topps Chrome auto, or would you pay like $1,000?
But then Leaf doesn't even do on card, right? Everything is sticker. Right?
I don't know.
Does Leaf do on card? I think everything is sticker.
I thought they did. I thought Ohtani had, but I could be wrong. But
yeah, I don't know. Or most are stickers.
Trust me, I'm not saying I'm a Leaf collector. Okay, yeah. I'm just saying there's maybe a card I wouldn't mind having. You know
what? You know what? To answer your question, I still go for the $6,000 base.
I know you would.
Bowman Chrome, baby.
Because you love base.
We should stop talking Leaf. We're losing listeners.
That's true.
All right,
that is true.
Okay, yeah. Let's move on. One more thing about the NIL cards. In the Washington Post article, they actually made a pretty good point. They said it could be beneficial more to like women's sports, like niche sports. And they use women's sports as an example because, they mentioned that right now there's high demand for Caitlin Clark basketball cards. Right. And, I wonder if that's where NIL could go because, there's traditionally not been a dedicated hobby set for female sports. And the bigger question for me is, do you think there is a market for it? Right? Like, just say you do have NIL cards, and Caitlin Clark's an exception, I think, because she's one of the best, right? But can you expand that to other female players? I think it might be challenging. So I wonder if that's going to be a strategy they could use, or if it will just kind of fall.
I think you'll see a direct correlation to ticket sales, though, in terms of the relative sports too. So I think sports in general will tell you how it will do. So it's like, how is the revenue in the WNBA versus the NBA, for instance, right? That will dictate probably the same way it will be in the sports card market, right?
It's a good gauge, sure.
Yeah. I think it's going to happen, and it's not necessarily about male or female sports. I think they're going to just, their strategy, and it makes the most sense. They're going to just basically try to capture every hot athlete out there that's not a pro yet, across female and males, right? So it's not necessarily about the female leagues or anything like that. It's just, if you're a hot athlete, you're looking like, the top prospect in basketball or the top prospect in baseball or, snowboarding or anything, and you're like the talk of the town. I think they're going to try to capture that and get that auto and get it onto an NIL card product. Like, it's going to happen, right? So that's probably the strategy, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I can see that making more sense for athletes in going back to the point of niche sports, because they won't have a pro league where there's millions of fans built in, like MLB or NFL or NBA. So it is really about the athlete that fans want more of, like whether it's the autograph card or memorabilia. So yeah, I could totally see that too. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things play out on the NIL card front. It's relatively new to the hobby, and I'm sure it's going to grow. And there's going to be different strategies by different companies on how they sign up and coming young athletes. So it'll be interesting to see how that impacts the hobby in the future. Okay, let's go on to our next segment we call Quiz Show. All right, today's quiz show segment is a little different because I only have one question for you guys, all right? But before I ask you what the question is, let me provide a little context to the question, okay? So I saw this on Twitter, or X now, which is what it's called, on the Collectible Gurus page, and he noted that recently the 21st athlete had one of his cards sell for more than $1 million, okay? So there's a list of 21 athletes, and they have at least one card that's sold for $1 million, okay? And the 21st athlete is Joe Doyle. You ever heard of Joe Doyle?
No.
It was his 1910 Piedmont Cigarettes T206 card. So very old player, obviously. Right. And the reason it's sold for more than $1 million is because it was an error card where the card incorrectly stated that he was a member of the National League when he actually played for the New York Highlanders in the American League. Okay? And yes, the Highlanders changed their name in 1913 to the New York Yankees. So there's a little baseball history there for you. But Joe Doyle is number 16 on the list of 21 athletes in terms of how much it's sold for. And number 16 is 1.32 million. All right. So out of 21 athletes, he is one of those athletes that has a card that sold for more than $1 million. Okay.
That's wild.
So the quiz show question, that was a long kind of preamble, but the quiz show question is, name the 20 other athletes who had at least one of their cards sell for more than $1 million.
Okay.
All right.
Holy,
and listen, you just need to name the player. You don't have to name the specific card either, because that'll be long and difficult. But you just name the player who has had at least one card that sold for $1 million, and you guys can shout them out anytime. I'll cross the names off the list while you do. So go ahead.
Jordan, LeBron, Kobe.
Mantle.
Okay, hold on.
Trout.
Yes.
Trout.
Hold on. Let me take these names so I don't. Yeah. So
$1
Jordan,
LeBron. Kobe, LeBron, Trout.
LeBron was number 3.
Mantle.
Mantle
was number 1 with his $12.6 million sale. Yeah.
Brady.
Jordan was 10 on that list.
Luka.
Lucas number 4 with his National Treasures, 4.6. Did you say Brady?
Steph
$3.8 million sale. Yeah, number 8.
Honus
Steph
Wagner.
Curry.
Honus Wagner's number 2 with $7.25 million. Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes number 5 with his $4.3 million
Was
sale.
Steph there at all?
Steph Curry number 18.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
so
easy
you
for you
got
guys.
list.
Wayne
It'll
Gretzky.
get harder near the end. Wayne Gretzky number 9 with his
Yeah,
3.75
PSC.
OPG. Yeah.
Million. We're in the seven figures.
Tiger Woods
right?
had one, right? We just talked about
Did we
it.
say Babe Ruth?
Tiger Woods is not on the list.
Not on-
I think
oh,
he had
we
a 6-figure.
Oh, yeah. We were talking
Yeah.
about $100,000.
How about the Babe?
Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry?
Babe Ruth.
The Babe. Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth number
Yeah,
6, 4.2 million. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a Jackie?
Jackie Robinson is not on that list.
How about a Willie or Hank Aaron?
Also not on the list.
6 figures.
$1 million card. Messi on the list.
Yeah, Messi, Ronaldo.
Nope, none of the soccer players. Oh, there is one clue.
Oh.
There is one soccer player. A legend.
Maradona.
Nope.
Pele?
Another one.
Pele.
yeah,
It's
1.3
Pele. Sorry.
million.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. I remember that Pele sale.
How many are we at?
You have 4, 5, 6, about 9 left. You're halfway through.
Holy jeez.
9 left. Oh, man. This is going to be tough.
I feel like
So
I
you
missed
got
something
Joy
at the
Doyle.
beginning. Sorry?
Who? Joe
Joe Doyle,
Doyle.
yeah, I took him
it
out.
was included. Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have got that one. I'll tell you that. Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb is not on the list. Yeah. Current MLB star.
We said Trout.
You said Trout already? Okay.
Yeah, we said Trout.
Oh, yeah. We said Trout.
Mike Trout. Yeah.
Mhm.
He is number 7. Another basketball player. I feel like you might have mentioned it, but I might have missed it.
Well, we
Lakers.
said LeBron. Kobe.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kobe's
We
number.
didn't say Kobe though. So that's 7.
I said him at the beginning. I said Kobe,
Oh,
LeBron,
oh,
Jordan.
okay.
Yeah, I think I missed it at the beginning. Yeah. So 7 left.
Holy cow. I feel like there was like $1 million Justin Herbert or something stupid.
Number 13, 1.8
there-
million.
There you go.
There
Justin
you go.
Herbert. Shut up.
He is on that list.
Wow.
There's one other young
So then is
QB.
Joe
Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow's
Joe Burrow,
gotta be up there.
1.7
Oh
million.
my
Yeah.
God.
Holy cow.
They comp the Justin Herbert. What
Yeah.
one sold before?
I don't know.
So somebody comped that and then said that was
So
the
that
comp.
entire, there's got to be like an entire era that COVID, like there's like Zion on the list.
No, Zion's not on the list. So there's 5 left, okay? And I'll break down the sports
Okay.
to give you it.
Okay.
2 basketball,
Okay.
3 baseball.
3
How's
baseball,
that?
2 basketball, 3 baseball. Okay.
Yeah. And
And
baseball, they are all not playing anymore.
Okay, vintage.
Okay.
Vintage, yes.
Yeah.
And the basketball, they are both playing.
They're both playing basketball.
So basketball's modern, but baseball's all vintage.
Oh, the 52 Topps. I feel like one of them is a 52 Topps. Shoot.
I feel like one of the basketball you guys should get.
Ted
the other
Williams?
one I think will surprise you. Ted Williams not on the list. No.
We said Hank. You guys said Hank Aaron. You guys said Jackie.
Aaron and Jackie weren't on the list.
Yeah, Aaron and Jackie were. Willie Mays wasn't on that list?
Not on that list.
Oh, jeez,
I think that's what I was thinking of.
Some of our listeners are probably shouting out.
Yeah,
for
sorry,
sure.
I'm not a vintage guy. Well, $1 million is a lot. I don't even like.
All right, here's a clue. One clue. He made a very famous speech. Baseball. Yankees.
Derek Jeter? No.
No.
Joe DiMaggio? Did he make a famous speech? Oh man.
There's an illness named after him.
Oh, Lou Gehrig.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Lou Gehrig. 1.032.
What card was that? What card is Lou Gehrig?
I don't have the card specific. Yeah, but
Lou Gehrig. Wow, totally forgot about Lou Gehrig.
Number 21 might be hard. Number 21 because it just breaks the 1 million. But he is a vintage guy. I guess
there's 2 basketball. You said right?
2 basketball, 2 baseball left.
What about Wilt for basketball?
No, the basketball they're still currently in the NBA.
Oh,
currently in the NBA.
Yeah.
LaMelo? No.
No.
It's something stupid like that.
I've seen listings for $1 million, but none have sold.
There's no KD. There's no way. We said Steph, right? Hyung, you said Steph.
You said Steph. He was on the list.
What?
NBA champion.
Oh, Giannis.
Yes.
No
1.8 million.
That's right.
Yeah.
Giannis.
I was thinking Giannis. I was like, no way.
1.8. So the last 3 are the hard ones. They're number 17 on the list, they're number 20 on the list, and 21, the final ones on the list.
Well,
so this one's hard. I think it'll take a while. So I'll give you the clue for 17. Vintage baseball, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, with Roberto Clemente.
Yes. 1.1 million for Roberto Clemente. Wow. 2 left. 1 basketball and 1 baseball.
And the basketball's current.
Basketball's current. This one you might be really surprised. And for baseball, known to perform in the playoffs.
Oh, Reggie Jackson?
Yes. Has a month named after him. Reggie Jackson, number 21 on the list.
Do you have that card? What sold? Or no?
No, I don't have it. I got to research it later, but yeah.
Man, that was good.
Reggie
one more
Jackson.
Basketball?
Yep, he's number 20 on the list, right above Reggie Jackson. His card sold for 1.02 million.
Oh man, modern.
He's a big guy. What other clues can I give you that's not too obvious? I feel like he's only played for 2 teams. He's won a championship. He was teammates with one of the players that was already on the list.
Oh, there's 20 other players.
He's gonna go 30 clues deep before we.
I'm tapped out on this.
Yeah,
He's known for his eyebrows.
Oh, Anthony Davis.
Oh my gosh, really?
I was gonna say, I don't want to even say it. If somebody paid $1 million, that's
Anthony Davis.
That one hurts.
No way. I would never have guessed that.
Go. Well, you guys did. You guys did pretty well.
It had to have been an NTA.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
With all these modern ones, even the football ones, they're all
NTs
NT.
are flawless.
Yeah.
Or probably NT. Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I was not expecting that. I thought it was just going to be one question. Makes my brain wrinkle.
You got the obvious ones quickly though. Like I was surprised how quickly you were just getting them off the list, but I knew a few of them would stump you. All right, that's the quiz show segment for this episode. And let's just move on to our final regular weekly segment we call Pick One. And this is where each of us will put up a couple of cards or sets, and we debate which one we would rather invest in. All right, so Hyung, do you want to start things off as usual?
Sure, let's go baseball. The man is on fire. Corey Seager with the Texas Rangers.
Corey Seager.
New team.
Wow.
New team. he's no longer a Dodger, obviously, the last couple years, but he's really, really raking this year. Like we're talking, pushing, because he's pushing 30 years old now, and now he's pushing over 30 WAR, right? He's hitting 340 with 22 bombs. Mm-hmm. He could potentially be a sneaky, pick because his cards are so cheap, right? For instance, his Bowman Chrome Refractor, and it's up too. It sold for $399 for a BGS 9.5, a refractor auto. Okay. Yeah. So it was at $249, like probably 2 weeks ago. So would you rather invest in a Corey Seager, all right, for $300 or $399? Sorry, and that comes from basically 2012 Bowman draft, or would you invest in Freddie Freeman, a Bowman Chrome base auto, BGS 9 that sold for $450? Two guys that are having monster seasons. So Freddie Freeman could potentially win an MVP as well. I don't think Corey Seager is because of Shohei, but
right, yeah.
What are you investing in? $400 bucks. I'm broke. $400.
Freeman is the rookie auto. BGS
no.
9?
Freeman's Bowman Chrome auto too.
Sorry, a Bowman Chrome auto, and then the Seager is a Bowman Chrome Refractor. You said?
Yeah, I only have $400. Broke. $400. What am I gonna? What's the better investment? Corey Seager, who's just on fire, and maybe he's so cheap, or Freddie Freeman, who's just continuing to be, just a stud, but nobody loves him. Nobody likes him.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I'm gonna. You know what? That right there is what's gonna get me to choose Corey Seager, because Corey Seager, people forgot about him, but I feel like he still has a little bit of a flame to have hype, and it's a refractor, numbered. I think the stars align if you're going to take a risk at $400. I mean, just straight name alone, how could I not pick Freeman? But I think if I'm going to gamble with $400, give me the Corey Seager.
Interesting. Johnny, you're buying high. I think that's a loser's bet. But I'm going Freddie Freeman. With all the caveats you guys just mentioned, that he gets no hobby love despite everything he's done in his career, but there's got to be a point, and this might be hobby logic, and it might never come, where people are like, oh yeah, Freeman's a Hall of Famer, he's a really good, excellent player. But I'm more banking on, when his career is all said and done, people are going to be like, okay, yeah, this card is got to be worth more than what it is now, based on Freeman's talent and also what he's achieved through his career. So, yeah, I don't like everything else is favorable more for the Corey Seager card with the refractor being numbered, but I'm betting on the player this time. And Corey Seager, the phenomenal season, but he hasn't been doing it consistently like Freeman has. So it could be a flash in the pan too, right? Next season could dip right back to where it was before. So I'm going Freddie Freeman.
Nice. So the determining factor here. I see both your points, and I think I like John's point better. I like the short-term potential with Corey Seager because he's 29 years old. He has a 30 WAR. So this is like, okay, next year where it's like, hey, his trajectory is pretty good in terms of, if Corey Seager can keep this up, if he becomes he's never been a really big superstar. Like this year, he's playing like a big superstar. So he's in that category where he has a career 292 average, which is really, really good, right? And Freddie Freeman's 301, right? So Corey Seager and Freddie Freeman's at a 54 WAR at 33 years old. So he's 4 years ahead, but obviously Freddie Freeman wins in that department. But now you're going BGS 9, and I've had a Freddie Freeman X-Fractor BGS 9.5, and it's a great card, but it was so boring because Freddie Freeman never had he hits 330 every year, 25 bombs, 100 RBIs, no love. every single year. So I think just from that, I'm staying off long term both of them until like Hall of Fame. But I'm gonna go with the short term on here and pick Corey Seager because I think he's gonna continue to trend upwards because his prices were so cheap.
All right.
I think Corey Seager's a buy.
Okay.
You heard it from Hyung.
I'm
Don't
trying to
go
buy
crazy. He was just so cheap compared to everybody else. That's why.
Don't go too crazy. I am in the market for a Corey Seager home field advantage right now. So
nice.
That's the only Corey Seager I'm buying. All right, Johnny, you want to go?
All right. Yeah, let's do it. 2003 SB Authentic Signatures Gold, numbered out of 50. Michael Jordan on-card auto, BGS 9510. Sold for $18,000. Versus Shohei Ohtani Upper Deck Sport Royalty Kanji auto, BGS 9510. Sold for $20,000. Which one are you choosing for around $20,000?
Which one was the Jordan? Sorry, say it again.
Yeah, it's a little niche. It's just an SB Authentic Signatures Gold numbered out of 50 on card auto, BGS 9510.
Do you have the year?
2003 4. It's a horizontal card. But the point is, the more point is, a BGS 9, a gem mint Michael Jordan auto versus a Shohei Ohtani Kanji gem mint auto. If you could choose one, which one you take?
That's a sick card.
It is.
Jordan's card's sick.
It's the one where he's jumping in the air?
No, I think it's he just has his
it's just a normal Chicago Bulls jersey.
Yeah.
Image.
With the basketball, he's just dribbling.
Oh, dribbling, okay.
Man.
What do you think, yeah?
And what's the other one? The Shohei...
The Sport Royalty. The Upper Deck Sport Royalty Kanji.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I think he's
that
in
was
a suit.
2018, right? No, that's second... Wasn't that...
2018.
2019.
Yeah, 2018. He's in a suit.
I thought that was
Right.
2019. Shohei.
2018 Upper Deck. Good win.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that one. They had another one, that's why. That. Okay. And that was a BGS 9.5, you said? Or
yeah,
9?
they're both BGS 9.5s.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Basically, gem mint Michael Jordan auto versus gem mint Shohei Ohtani Kanji.
The Kanji one is it's not the exquisite you're talking about, right?
No. I bet that image is the same image as exquisite. It looks very similar, but it's the Sport Royalty one with kind of like a red background.
Oh yeah, okay, I know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Shohei. His Kanji autos are like crazy desired. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, he's still relevant in terms of kind of like he could keep on going up. You never know. Like, but that's Jordan's like stable. Like you're gonna do well with that Jordan. Obviously, long term, maybe Jordan's smarter, but I enjoy a bit of volatility, I guess, and I think you're gonna get that a bit with Shohei, especially with that auto. Like that's on my my watch list. Not necessarily
100%.
on a card, but even on a baseball, getting the Kanji auto is like such a crazy collector's piece. So, yeah, I'm going to go Shohei.
Yeah, I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to go Shohei too.
Wow, Clark.
I get I'm Mr. Stable, but
he's like,
when it comes to
long term.
But when it comes to Shohei, I'm call it FOMO, call it whatever you want, but and the Kanji auto, which is also on my Grail card list. If I had that money to spend, I would rather. I think I would enjoy having that card more, And then, even with the possibility of the value going up as an investment piece too, I think there's potential for Shohei's cards to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with, and I like the card itself. It looks super clean, that particular card. Whereas I this is a personal preference, but I'm not a big fan of horizontal cards, especially if they're slabbed. It's just,
I hear you.
The slab marking on the side, essentially on the side of the card, is just not great for eye appeal. So you put all those things together, Shohei's the vote.
Yeah. Nice. Oh man, all the old heads are gonna call the three of us old heads.
Denny's gonna be like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah, a bunch of idiots, because I'm also picking the Ohtani.
Shohei sweep.
Yeah, baseball collecting is all about the auto. Like, particularly in baseball. Like, and if Ohtani, I mean, even the three of us were getting very convinced Ohtani is on the trajectory to absolute greatness, like unicorn greatness. Barring any injury or something really, really stupid. But the fact that it's an auto that he just doesn't sign anymore. Like, it's as rare as it gets. Like, you talk about any hardcore Ohtani collector and go and search for a Kanji auto. They're just not out there. And if it's out there on eBay, it's $50,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's just such a holy grail piece. And then Jordan, I mean, it's come on, like, that's as classic. It's up there with like a Mickey Mantle auto, but I mean, I feel like they trade pretty regularly. They're not, like this. It's a little bit different. Like, obviously you're taking a risk in volatility, but it is just so rare and so desired. I think I would, I'd be open to taking that money and putting that risk in, because I think it could just multiply so much greater. So, yeah. Ohtani too.
Cool. Shohei sweep. All right, we'll end off the show with my pick one. Okay, on one side you got Victor Wembanyama, his 2023 or 2022-23 Bowman Chrome University. It's his first Bowman autograph. All right. So that's sold August 12th for about $1,400 US. And then on the other side, you have the 2007-08 Topps Chrome Refractor of Kevin Durant, numbered to $1,499. PSA 9, which sold for just over $1,500. So let's round off both to $1,500. Which one would you rather spend on? And the Victor Wembanyama is raw.
Is it auto?
It's an auto. Yep.
Yeah. It's a base auto.
Sorry.
It's a base auto.
Yes. Yeah.
Base
Can you
auto.
repeat that again? I missed which card it was of Victor's.
The Bowman Chrome
first.
U.
Yeah.
The
Bowman Chrome U.
On
first
card.
Bowman autograph.
Yeah.
On card. Yep.
Base.
I don't like base. 1400
versus what? Kevin Durant.
Durant Refractor.
KD Topps Chrome Refractor rookie. PSA 9. Number to $1,499.
I hate the 9, but that card used to be worth so much.
Yeah.
So we always said, hey, when that Durant Refractor goes down, I buy it. Now it's like dirt cheap, and it's like, I think I'm gonna go with the Durant on this one though. I can't. I'm not completely sold on the Bowman first Chrome U in basketball. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I mean it's Wemby. There's a lot of hype, but I'm gonna still go Durant. I just think it's gonna be a smarter move, because 1,400 is not a great buy-in anyways for Wemby raw. It's like buying Acuna raw or something like that. $1,400. We all did it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an easy one for me. It's Katie all the way. And this goes back to what we were talking about NIL. Like, I think the NIL product for me is completely short term. Like, have a good time ripping it. If you hit something big, get rid of it and sell it, because once the Topps Chrome Victor Wembanyama comes out and the whatever, yada, 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 the big leagues, all that stuff is going to start dwindling in prices. So it's very easy for me. Like, if you own that card in Victor, get out of it as quickly as you can. And in terms of a 1v1, it's very easy to go with the Kate. I mean, you could have put any other $1,400 card on the other side. I probably would have picked it. So Katie.
Wow. Okay. considering, we were all buying into the Victor Wembanyama hype before any of these cards came out. Now you guys are just ditching Wemby, eh?
I think it was just you, man. I don't know what else.
No, I was excited for it, but like I think it just didn't come out the way I thought it would. But I mean, there's obviously hype. Like, it's selling.
Yeah, major.
Yeah. So it's like, it is. Like, we're right on that. It was just the card is like, I have zero desire to have it. You know what I mean?
This is first Bowman too.
I know.
All right. Well, I'm going to choose KD too. So. Yeah. I mean, I don't have to say anything much more. I agree with you guys. So I was just playing with you, but it's numbered, and it's funny. Like we said, we would probably look at KD cards when its prices come down, but it's always that same thing, right? It's like,
is it going to go down?
Can it go lower, or do I really want it now? Until it goes back up, you're like, okay, now I want it again. So maybe I should get myself a Topps Chrome Refractor of KD. Okay, thanks for all our listeners for tuning in to Cards to the Moon, and as always, we appreciate your feedback. And if you could rate us with 5 stars if you enjoyed the show, we'd be very appreciative. And we'll see you with a brand new episode next week. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU@Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.